Right here, between the legs. Oh my goodness, behind the back, layup. Oh, did he just do a reverse? He is in beast mode out here. I ain't gotta look, it's falling. Oh my goodness, this guy is going 3, 2, 1. Kobe. Nice. Black Power Media, baby. Nice. Empower yourself. Go get you some of that Black Power Media again. Right here, blackpowermedia.org. Yeah.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome everybody to another edition of I Mix What I Like, right here, Black Power Media. Again, I'm Jared Ball, very happy to be your host. Got a little introductory program before we get to the main show at 11 o'clock. Saturdays with Renee, but a couple people sent me, so I do get these buying power alerts still, and so what I'm going to do this morning, just very quickly. What's up to the chat? Greetings to all those who are here live. Peace, welcome. Please do like, share, subscribe, put this in your socials, invite others to join you, and I will join you shortly. But I just want to get through this quickly, and then relatively quickly, and then we'll chop it up for a few minutes before, as I said, the main show today, Saturdays with Renee. And Renee is very well organized and prepared, so it's going to be well worth your while to come on back for that. That said, but to start us off, as I said, I continue to get these buying power alerts, and so I did see this. Wasn't sure if I would want to address it, but a number of people actually, and I do love when this happens, I admit that, so I appreciate you all for doing this, but a number of people said, yo, the signal went up, and they said, could you touch on this for a few minutes? And so I thought I would. Yeah, there it is. That's they put the jab signal went up. So I looked at this story, and there are a couple of very interesting, I think, teachable moments, shall we say, in it. And then something else just happened late last night. Roland Martin dropped a video that I'll play a short bit of that fits actually right on time with this. So what I'll do is, let me pull this up here, because the story, and I put the link in the show description, although I had to get a little bit creative because I do not have a subscription to this Forbes piece, and wanted to make sure I would still have access to it by the time I got here this morning. But the story here by Sugrin Yongo, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that, from just the other day, Forbes magazine, what Beyonce's Renaissance World Tour says about the economic impact of Black women. And I think it's important that they started it this way. Because, again, as I continue to argue, what is confused in this buying power argument is the, by design, is people assuming that this economic impact is something that we can do something with. But as the article points out here, and again, just a quick reminder, Forbes magazine, one of the old bastion, old media, elite targeting media, financial news, targeting the elite. So this is not a story. So I should have started here just as a media studies 101. Forbes targeting the elite. And as Kamal's favorite white man, Noam Chomsky, used to point out, he and really Ed Herman used to point out, that if you want evidence for what the commercial press is here to do, just pick up, as they used to say back in the day, any major newspaper and turn to the labor section. And this was Chomsky's attempt at comedy because, as he would quickly point out, there is no labor section. There's a business section targeting the business elite. And as he would also point out, if there's ever a discussion of a labor dispute, it's from the perspective of the corporate rulers, not working people. So when Forbes, to that same point, is talking about the economic impact of Black women, they're not talking about this in the context of this is where Black women can invigorate a Black economy that will free and liberate a colonized Black community. And they're not even saying Black women can generate and lead an economy that can be of any value of any kind to the Black community, not even liberation, not even liberatory, but just a little. They're not even talking about just a little bit of help. They're talking about the ability for, as buying power is always meant to convey, for people to enrich those who own the economy. So when they're saying from the perspective of Forbes that there's an economic impact of Black women, they're talking about the ability of these Black women, Beyonce in particular in this case, to enrich themselves. I also think some of the methodology, I didn't take too much time with it, but again, the methodology here is just, and I keep thinking I do want us to have a conversation at some point. I think there is a methodological crisis. I think I've said it here before. I've been saying it in my classes a lot lately, trying to get students to pay more attention to how they're reaching the conclusions that they come to my classes convinced are correct. And without trying to even get into an argument and debate things that are not worthy of debate, I just want to ask again, how did you reach this conclusion? What methods? So Beyonce here is said to have rebranded herself through her highly publicized tour, not just a global cultural icon, but as a magnate whose brand output perseveres rather, in spite of the odds. And that's right out the gate, that is the frame that they bring to this whole thing, that the Nielsen report that they refer to brings to this whole thing, that I should have probably highlighted more in my own work, that they really lean into this. Black women are overcoming every obstacle. So here's Beyonce against all odds, establishing herself as a magnate, as a power player, as an icon, transcending borders, sparking global conversation about the economic clout of Black women. The glittery tour's economic impact has been since dubbed the Beyonce bump, according to Yelp's economic coverage. So now Yelp, and I did look at this. If you click on this, I can bring it up later, but I mean, it's really, it's more of the same thing. Yelp is now tabulating how often Black women are, or those self-reporting to be Black women, are liking or positively commenting on something in Yelp's comment section, rating section. So assuming, I did not do a deep dive, but I did not see readily available. Why is Yelp established as a viable outlet for assessing what Black consumers are interested in? What percentage of Black consumers, first of all, what percentage of all consumers use Yelp? And then use Yelp beyond, I need a quick to find something, and then go on to rate and comment and talk about what they've bought and what they feel about it. But that's where Yelp is getting, and this is where Forbes. It's like, and I'm just thinking of it, it's like Forbes this is the economic version of what Norman Finkelstein is doing now on this tour, this Norman Finkelstein Talks Black Studies tour, where I've seen endlessly in my algorithm now, everybody's talking to Finkelstein with Ibram Kendi on the thumbnail. And Finkelstein's calling Kendi to the carpet is but it's done with that same, but my point is, it's done with that same, we don't really care about the subject. So Forbes is, again, you're Forbes. You're supposed to be this elite magazine with endless resources, wanting to understand the economy. But we're now calling it a Beyonce bump because of Yelp's coverage. And what is the bump? For many Black women who are entrepreneurs in their own right, the Beyonce bump is relevant too, because Black women have become compelling consumers and economic powerhouses whose interests, ownership, and stake in brand loyalty collectively revive consumer markets across industries. And I'm going to show you in a second where that compelling consumers thing is. And remember, this is from this month. I want to come back and highlight again. It's October 2nd, 2023 that this story is written. And the compelling consumers link there, we're going to look at in just a second. When Beyonce really, and this is sort of the point that I'm getting at in terms of what sort of does trigger my interest and involvement. It's not just that it's Beyonce. It's not just that it's the claim of buying power, but it's that they start associating things that are being done in pop culture and in grand narrative, imposed grand narrative, to be revolutionary or connected in some way to the struggle for freedom. When Beyonce released Renaissance last summer, fans were curious but gravitated towards anthems like Break My Soul for its surprising relatability, and lyrics like work by 9, then off past 5, and they work my nerves, that's why I cannot sleep at night. I'm sure she sang it better than I read it, but, and I know rappers get funny with what's supposed to rhyme too, but I don't know how she worked that in there. But again, Forbes is, and I'm not saying that they're right, and I'm not even saying that everyone because as I also linked in the show description, we talked about Break My Soul last year here and connected it to, I connected it to some 19th century Marxist claim for our right to be lazy. But this idea that Beyonce was somehow in league with the working people. Notice how, by the way, Forbes is slick here, right? Because her solidarity with working people is referenced here in an article from October of 2023, but talking about an album she dropped last year with this vague reference to work. Oh, there goes my thumb. With this vague reference to work, but they don't mention, as I'm not sure if is or is not the case, but they don't report it here, that she's at all saying anything about the ongoing labor strikes, increasing labor strikes, et cetera, and so forth. It's not like she's out there leading the call for strikes or in solidarity. She's not out there. I didn't see her next to Boots. I didn't see her out there next to Boots Riley, you know. So, but that's sort of the thing, that people want to throw this, and then they mention in here also, I don't know if I skipped it already, but the Super Bowl thing and all this other stuff. But here's the real crux of it all right here. Historically, Black women have faced economic uphill battles in corporate spaces, but also, by the way, I'm just thinking about that too. Remember this line here, because remember, okay. So I said a second ago, remember how we got to come back to that this article's from this month, this year, referencing, in the case of Beyonce, her album last year, but the link to I can't even remember what the compelling consumers, just, okay. And then this line is going to resonate even more as more crazy in a moment too, given the reference that compelling consumers is, we're going in a moment, but this in the past tense. But you'll see. Historically, Black women have faced economic uphill battles in corporate spaces, but also as consumers. However, in the past decade, economic giants have begun to notice and tap into their buying power. And I know I'm not the one to talk, but I'm sure, I'm just reading this again, I'm sure someone would have wanted another run at the edit for that sentence. There's got to be a better way to write that sentence. And I know I'm definitely the hypocrite for being the one to call that out. But as I'm reading that, that's a sentence I would write. That's a Jared sentence right there. But also, but note this here, but again, this article is again more honest in what they're saying. I think it does require our conversation to draw out the specificity or the nuance, or the clarity of it, but they are being honest here. Black women, yeah, they face problems in the corporate world, but as consumers, real economic giants have begun to tap into their buying power. So as difficult as that sentence is, it is packing a punch, but maybe that is similar to what I would write, because this depth of this sentence, but it just needs to be better organized. Because they're saying Black women struggle in the corporate world. They struggle. Everything is an uphill battle for Black women, but not as consumers who economic giants can notice and tap into their buying power. You can't. Black people can't. Working people can't. Black women can't. The Black community can't tap into this buying power, but the economic giants can. And then here's the real graph right here. In the same, it is the same principle that Beyonce harnessed the Renaissance World Tour on raking in on. Again, I think maybe I'm the one struggling with maybe it's me. It is the same principle. It is this same principle that Beyonce harnessed the Renaissance World Tour on, raking in upwards of $179 million in a single month, according to Billboard. By the end of the tour, so again, she's not bringing in this money for herself. The tour is bringing in. Because by the end of the tour, Beyonce would have contributed about $4.5 billion to the American economy, a figure comparable to the economic impact of the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, according to the New York Times. Now, again, the Olympics in Beijing, for all that we might want to say some good things here or there about the Chinese, what did it do for the Chinese people? Maybe if it did anything, it was done through the redistributionist policies that exist in China. But for the most part, that money went to those who put the thing together and who own the economy. And that's what Forbes is pointing out here. Her world tour for them is having the equivalent that the Beijing Olympics had for China. Not $4.5 billion for Beyonce, not $4.5 billion for black people, certainly not black women, $4.5 billion for the American economy. That's the buying power. That's what the power means in buying power. But here again, we come back to, but amidst the dazzling lights and electrifying performances, there was a deeper message at play. Beyonce strategically infuses themes of empowerment, self-love, and unity into every show, and the results, as documented by fans on social media, have been palpable. And this is important because as the marketing data shows, as I've been showing in my work, as we've been talking a lot about here, is from the marketing perspective, black people want that conscious consumption. And as I pointed out in my book, even it's not that black people even need to know that it is a black-owned business, and they aren't even being asked if they care if the generated wealth is helping their community. All they need to know is it has a dashiki on it. All they need to know is it's got a Black Lives Matter sign on it, or a fist, or an Angela Davis afro in it. That's all black consumers need to know. And they will go in there. And so if you just come in here, so if you get on stage and you sing and you dance and you generate $4.5 billion in one tour for the American economy, what adds to the success, and this is the perniciousness of the woke imperium, we know you want it. We know you want the fists and the black power symbolism and the afros and the berets and the leather jackets. You want the symbolism. We'll even throw some red, black, and green in there. Did you all see? I don't know. Have you all gotten these updates for iPhone users? Have you all gotten these updates where they tell you the wallpaper? They have wallpaper that is created by black. You can get your Unity theme developed where it says designed by black creatives and allies at Apple to honor black history and culture. I don't think the color showed up, but we know you want your red, black, and green. We'll style it in there. We're not going to put it in the flag, but we'll throw red, black, and green colors moved around on the screen, and we'll get our black creatives and allies at Apple. And so all you need from Beyonce is a deeper message at play. Yeah, sure. Some are going to run off with she's a talented singer and dancer. Some are going to run off with she's just fine. Some are going to run off with she's in the Illuminati. Some are going to run off with, but she says feminism. She projects the word feminism. She did an HBCU thing. All of those versions are going to happen. But the only power in it is the ability to generate $4.5 billion for the American economy. But Beyonce strategically, and I love how Forbes is pointing that out, Beyonce is the powerhouse because she strategically infuses these themes of empowerment, self-love, and unity into every show. And it works. And then the article kind of just ends. It's got a kind of a weird ending. I even went and did a whole bunch of searching, thinking I got cut off and that there's more to it, but no, it just kind of ends with a little reference to the Super Bowl, and so that was it. But now, when you click that God, I keep forgetting the what they call it, the compelling consumers link. What you get is this Nielsen report from 2017. A report I've covered several times already in print and on this platform. I had forgotten about it. So again, an article written in 2023 in October using Yelp and then a Nielsen report from 2017 is concocting this message of, well, it's more realistic here in the sense that here they're putting it all together to tell the rich world, hey, we know you're not going to see this Beyonce. We know you don't care about what she's doing. But when you see or hear about her coming to your town, don't get entirely cringed up. Because she's doing something good. And if you have businesses somewhat related or that can somehow benefit from this, throw a little red, black, and green in your window or in your social media and tag Beyonce. So what is this 2017 story saying? $1.5 trillion of buying power by 2021, according to African-American women. Our science, her magic, a Nielsen report released today. I think I already did I put the link in the show description to when we talked about this before? But the best part is still, well, not the best part. It's really not the best part. But the as I talked about it before, the schadenfreude of it all comes up here in a minute. Again, Black women are self-made, self-reliant. This framing, this leaning into the power of the Black woman, the power of the Black woman, the power of the Black woman. Black women are trendsetters, brand loyalists, and early adopters who care about projecting a positive self-image. They are playing an increasingly vital role in how all women see themselves and influencing mainstream culture across a number of areas, including fashion, beauty, television, and music. Not political power, not freedom, but Black women. Again, if you need to drive your products, get a Black woman because she's cool, she's a trendsetter, she's early adopting, positive image. And then Black women have strong life-affirming values that spill over into everything they do. The celebration of their power and beauty is reflected in what they buy, watch, and listen to. And people outside their communities find it inspiring, says Cheryl Grace, Senior Vice President of U.S. Strategic Community Alliances and Consumer Engagement at Nielsen. Understanding how Black women's values affect their buying decisions has long been marketing necessity. How now marketers must also recognize the intercultural influence of Black women on the general market as an increasingly vital part of how all women see themselves, their families, and the rest of the world. Now, if you remember, in my book, Cheryl Grace is referenced under a different name, McNeil something or other, but I had to look it up. She changed her name to Cheryl Grace. I don't know if this is an issue of if it's related to a wedding or a marriage or whatever, or just, I'm not sure what's going on, but when you look her up now, she's Cheryl Grace, formerly known as McNeil, whatever. And she and I had actually been edited together in a marketplace NPR piece that I talk about in the book where she misrepresents Dr. King and da-da-da-da-da. But as I pointed out a couple years ago, in 2021, a few years after she's quoted here, talk about the power of Black women and working with Nielsen, Nielsen settles federal lawsuit by executive who alleged racism blocked promotions. The Atlanta-based Southern Christian Leadership Conference had targeted Nielsen in a series of protests planned as part of a year-long campaign against racism. Cheryl Grace was that victor. She won a settlement and moved on, and apparently, according to LinkedIn, has her own little operation going now. So Nielsen promoting the power of Black women would not apparently promote or pay properly Black women and paid a hefty, apparently, sum in this instance for. So it's just beautiful. Never mind. Remember, the Nielsen has a long history. I've talked a little bit about it before. I should have done more about it in the book. I should have do more about it. But racism in their personal people meter device, not rating black radio outlets. Going back even years before that, they got caught. They and advertisers got caught in saying they're not going to work with black outlets. So there's a long history of this but again, they're not here to solve racism or inequality. They're here to help marketers grab whatever pennies exist in the black community, and then to help black commercial press outlets falsely misrepresent this so that they can grab some ad revenue dollars. Message. I'll skip over this. This is just some of the more of the bad methodology that they use to determine that black women are independent and self-made, because 64% they say agree their goal is to make it to the top of their profession. So 64% of black women say their goal is to get to the top. That's power. That's independence. They don't mind. 58% of black women say they don't mind giving up their personal time for work, as compared to only 20% of non-Hispanic white women. So black women will give up all their free time. They want to get to the top. And in that is power. Ages 35 to 49, black women have the highest income within the black female cohort. And what is 35 to 49? Prime shopping years, prime spending time. Because after 49, people stop spending. And then black people just die. And then at which point they are useless consumers. And I bet that's how the death certificates look to Nielsen. Useless consumer, put them in the useless, no longer can consume. But black women have embraced the social media movement of Black Girl Magic more than any other demographic group. They use social media and trend set. And 62% of black women agree that they enjoy wandering a store looking for new interesting products. Power. That's real economic power. And of course, black women watch more TV than anybody. So there you see a little bit of what I'm talking about in terms of this bad methodology. But as we understand, we can at least be a little more clear around here what's going on. Whatever we think of Beyonce as an individual, as an artist, is on some level irrelevant. To those in power, she is a wealth generator. So give her more money. Speaking of which, support her. More tours, more and more tours. Because that's the kind of revolution we like too, by the way. That's the kind of black empowerment that we like. But check this out here. This is just a little excerpt from a recently dropped Roland Martin interview, a video. It's more the same that he's been doing, but this is.
And so all of a sudden we begin to have those calls.
So
and
this
those
is
things
just
begin
him.
To happen. And again, if I sit here and go through,
he's
my
talking
emails
about.
Here, I see lots of
the context of this is PepsiCo is not. Pepsi Company is not given enough ad money to Roland and his crew. So he wants more of that ad revenue. So he's going through his emails, looking at talking about all the meetings he had been having with all these executives.
Farmers, we reached out, and PepsiCo got a statement from them. I remember again when we had an additional meeting with the PepsiCo folks in April of 2022. So we had that, and then all of a sudden, so it's April of 2022. Then guess what? Nothing was happening. And so then I began to say, okay, fine, what's happening? And so begin to reach out to folks, and I began to go through here and different activations and things along those lines. And then I'm looking here at my email here, and that was on November 11th, 2022. There was a meeting I had with, it was an email, Christina Tyson, Katie Hanafy, their media folks. And guess what? We had a meeting set up. And then, of course, I see November 11th. And then all of a sudden, and then we have, here we go. And so, you see right here, if you go to my iPad, it says objective, PepsiCo team to learn about Roland's non-news media opportunities. Come back to me. Why is that important? It's because what often happens is these companies will say, hey, we don't buy news shows. We don't buy news shows, so therefore, you know, we really can't do your show. Well, that's not a problem, because guess what? We've done major deals, 7-figure deals with Coca-Cola. We've done customized content. We've done deals with Procter & Gamble. We've done deals with General Motors.
Just curious, what does customized content look like for McDonald's in these major deals? What does that mean? What is customized content? Is that McDonald's Christmas special we looked at last year? Remember where you had somebody literally in a McDonald's clown suit singing gospel? Is that what that was? And is that is couched as black power and black empowerment and black magic and girl magic and man magic?
So we've done deals with major companies. So right now we have a 7-figure deal with McDonald's. So there's no other major. Let me be real clear, y'all. You don't get bigger, and we've done stuff with Apple. So we've done customized content deals with Apple, P&G.
He cuts himself off. I really wanted him. I didn't watch the entire video, but I don't know if he comes back to make the point later, but I really wish he would have finished that point there, because he's saying what I've been arguing. You can't get bigger without white capital investment. And if you're if you're a commercial media outlet who wants to expand just like any other business, you got to get that major capital investment. And then by extension, what do you have to do to get that money? What content do you have to do? That's why we've been criticizing for so long. This is not personal, but that's why we're criticizing with Roland Martin. As he says, he is the dominant the leading black news media outlet. But we pointed out many of the shortcomings on his platform regarding economic analysis, in particular, to a lesser extent, some of the discussion or lack thereof of newly produced black academic work. But that's the point that he's in fact saying. You got to get that bag if you want to expand, if you want to survive. You got to get the 7-figure deals with McDonald's and General Motors and Apple and whoever else. And then so to do that, you got to have Hill Harper on there talking about black people getting the Satoshis and taking over with Bitcoin. You got to have John Hope Bryant coming in there talking to people about investment and stock and condemning black people for their own poverty. You got to do that. And you can't have actual left discussions on. You got to produce books about the white fear that black people might vote for Democrats, is ultimately what Roland's book was about. That's what you have to do. Remember when we talked about, there's so much more, but remember we talked about where Roland he went over Gerald Horne's book on the black press, but did it in a way that neutered the point that I think Horne was ultimately making and should be taken from that work, which is the point I'm making here. That there's a massive contradiction that is not being dealt with consciously or appropriately by Roland's platform. That is, you're claiming to be this black empowerment platform and informing platform, but you have to adjust your content to appease advertisers.
Coca-Cola, McDonald's, General Motors. 5 of the biggest brands in the world. So There's no excuse. That was no.
Again, look how happy he is. We got the biggest brands in the world. Why don't we have Pepsi?
November 2022. Well, guess what? Nothing happened. Nothing goes on. I literally said, I remember November 8th, 2022, hey, Christine, it's been 3 months we've seen anything. And then all of a sudden, here we are in November. Like, what's up? January or February 2023, I do a meeting with their people. Again, nothing. I see their folks at Essence. I meet the new brothers of old multicultural. He said, hey, we need to get together. You're absolutely right. That was
at Essence Festival. And then listen where else he goes.
was July. Nothing. I see one of their folks at InvestFest.
Boom. I rest my case.
In Atlanta. She's like, hey, our people need to get together. Says, hey, guys, you need to get together with Roland. That's in August.
The coach's top thought leader.
In the last quarter of 2023, nothing from PepsiCo. I sent their various executives a question. I sent them emails earlier.
Oh, that's the end of my sorry about that. That's the end of the clip I got. But you get the point. I think you get the point. And that's what it was. So that's what I had for today. And I'll jump in the chat for a few minutes before we make way for Saturdays with Renee. But Beyonce is valuable because she generates huge amounts of money for those who own the economy, while also promoting a safe, comfortable, acceptable form, a sanctionable form of Black power, feminism, womanhood. Roland Martin, the same thing in a press media space, presents himself as Black empowerment, pride, advance, but is ultimately a sanctionable. He's literally pitching himself there again to white executives saying, I am a sanctionable voice for Black conversation. We're not going to do anything that threatens what you have as a goal. In fact, we're going to make you money. So I didn't watch enough in the video, but he still has on his website that Black people have this trillions in buying power. So I don't know if he specifically mentions it in this video, but that's what he's saying. And what that Forbes article is accurately depicting is, yeah, Black people do have a buying power to the extent that that power is defined as an ability to enrich us. If you have any comments, questions, queries, criticisms, conundrums, catechisms, cacophony, please re-raise them to the top. I'm even putting the link in the chat if you want to jump up real quick and say something on or off camera, on mic. Otherwise, we can wrap, but I appreciate that. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, join the BPM Patreon, link in the show description. Check the other videos, links in the show description, and make sure you have the bell rung so you don't miss all the great content coming on the platform from me and my comrades. And thanks to those who were here this morning. Appreciate you coming through. Yeah, trickle down power. Yeah, the caucasity. Yeah. So, all right, good people. Let's we got just enough time for a quick break, and then we can come back and get busy because Renee got a lot of fire for you. So thank you all very much. Appreciate you coming through. Like Fred Hampton used to say to you, we say peace only if you're willing to fight for it, though, and we will have to fight for it because this boy, oh boy. Like Daruba been saying, it don't look good for the home team. We got boy. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. But thanks again, everybody. Peace.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.
Man, Sauce in the house. Schooner, you don't want to get this one tonight, baby. Let's go, Sam. Let's party. to my man OG tonight. It's Virgo season, y'all. We gonna start this thing off right tonight. It's Virgo season. They the reason for breathing. One time for my loudmouth crew in here tonight. Talking about Miss Shamika, Miss Ebony, Tasha back there in the cut shop. Warm it up for the Meadows tonight. The whole